What's up everybody, Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel, and today we're going to be bringing you a trio of Kayla goodness. We're going to start off with this one. Let's check it out. So, if you haven't been living under a rock and you pay attention to people that want to draw attention to themselves with tiny instruments, especially if they're not tiny people, you may or may not have heard of this company, Kayla. Kayla brand music makes, originally, they were kind of front and center for the ukuleles that they made. And then they had this wonderful little instrument come on the scene, and it caught everyone's attention because it is amazingly, did you see that? My glasses were all goofy. Sorry guys. It was amazingly different in the way it sounded. And the biggest difference with this is this small instrument brings a huge tone as far as bass players go. And a lot of that I think is attributed to these weird little rubber strings. And while they do take a little getting used to because they get kind of grabby, they bring something to your tonal palette that, you know, more often than not you're gonna get from something that you would hold like this, an upright. This one I think is one of the older models. It's been around for a while. This is a striped ebony top. It's got a maple binding and a mahogany neck. It's got hip shot ultralight tuners, and it comes with the Fishman preamp like electronics that it has. This bass sounds phenomenal. It's very akin to the upright style tone that you would hear in the older recordings from, like, you know, 30s, 40s, 20s even. You get a very cool full tone from this instrument, and while it is again a little odd with the strings because of, you know, as you start getting sweaty or as you're playing on the gig, they get a little grabby. And for me, the fret dots, the way they're lined up with respect to this being a fretless, because I couldn't play a fretless without them. I don't know if there's a lot of you guys out there that feel that way, but fretless without fret lines, I'm just gonna set it down. I don't wanna even try. But they gave you fret lines, so it's totally fine. It's a lot of fun to play. I haven't had a chance to take this out on a gig yet because sadly I have not had a gig that would allow me to. I hope to. This is something that you would be able to have casually if you're gonna be that person and do Wonderwall or whatever the bass equivalent is at a campfire. This would be like the one you're like, oh hey guys, yeah, no, I just happen to have this. All kidding aside, this instrument is really, really cool. I love the striped ebony top. Anything that has these kind of, you know, these heavy grain patterns that you can see on these instruments, I think that's really rad. And this binding that they have, this maple binding all the way around, it's classy and it just looks really, really nice. I don't know if the camera is doing it justice, but it just looks like a very well-made instrument. It sounds phenomenal, and you get a lot of power in a tiny little package, and don't we all want that? It's fun. That's the best way I can put it. It's a fun thing to have as far as instruments go. I highly recommend it. Are we cutting to the next one? Or are we... And we're back. So this one is very similar as far as its design. There's small differences. This is the onboard Kayla electronics for this bass, as opposed to the Fishman electronics that you just saw. But the hugest and biggest difference besides the woods is it's fretted. The wooden bridge too, I forgot to mention this on the first one, I'm sorry. But this wooden bridge is really cool, not from an aesthetic point only, but also from just the kind of mechanical and the design standpoint. I really like that they kept it wood. I feel like it probably adds to some resonance with respect to this instrument, but also it just it would look weird if it was like a metal bridge on a hollow body, right? Like you get that. If you don't play a lot of acoustic instruments, you may not know. And for those of you that do and have seen that, they try to keep that pretty consistent. You're not seeing a lot of metal bridges on hollow body or wooden instruments. So I just thought that was cool that they were able to accomplish that. And the contrast on these looks amazing. Another cool thing that comes with these actual short scale strings for these instruments is that Labella makes these strings. Labella, if you don't know, is one of the oldest string makers still operating today. I love their strings. I use their strings exclusively for most of my instruments, and I thought that was really cool that Labella specifically designed these set of strings to be available for the fretted acoustic-electric models that Kayla offers. This, I remember seeing this specific top many times over the course of my life of wanting to buy one of these but never pulling the trigger. And I want to say that this is called Toma Ash. Now, the reason why I'm not 100% certain is I looked for this model specifically on Kayla's website, and I don't see it anymore. It still has a mahogany neck, but look at that. Look at the figuring on that. This is not just some BS instrument like off of Wish or Temu. This is something that they spent a lot of time in crafting, and they use some really high quality woods, and they've given you this amazing instrument, and I don't think they're very expensive at all. Pay attention to the binding too, like, you know, the other one, it had that maple binding, and the contrast on that looked great with the striped ebony. The Toma Ash with this black binding, it just looks super classy, right? I love that it's a rosewood board too, and this instrument being short scale, like I had mentioned, with respect to the size of the instrument, it sounds huge. It's crazy to me how good this instrument sounds. The Fishman stuff sounds great too, obviously. Fishman makes great stuff, but don't not pull the trigger on one of these because you're like, oh, I don't know what those electronics are. Just trust them. Like, they know what they're doing. They sound really, really good, and they're very well built. I had a much easier time attempting to change the strings with these versus the rubber kind of gut style strings, because the way that they have to go into the nut for the tuning key takes a little practice, at least for me. It might be easy, and most likely is easy for everyone else. It's just tougher for me. I'm reaching for this one more than the other one, just because it's more familiar. And again, I don't have a lot of opportunities to where I would need that fretless, but they both offer very unique tones, and they both offer very incredible options as far as the price point goes. So don't feel bad if you want both. You should get both. And last but not least, the Bass Channel's favorite coming up right now. Okay, this is the best for last kind of scenario. I love this. Look at this. Chris is already gonna take it to do his Chris stuff that he always does to your instruments. What do you think Chris is gonna do to this, Bass Channel subscribers? Ermergerd. Yeah, this is crazy. I love this instrument because it appeases to the dad jokes in me, because like I took this to a gig, and that somebody, like, I forget the song, but they're like, I don't think there's any bass in that. And the drummer was like, there's a little bass in that. And I'm like, is there? Okay. And I went and grabbed this, and I brought it out, and they're like, dude. I'm like, you said there's a little bass in it. Okay, terrible jokes aside, this instrument is so, can I cuss and you just bleep it? This instrument is so fucking awesome. I love this so much. This is their solid body U-bass. It is so meat and potatoes, and it sounds amazing. I love how this flies under the radar, and everybody's like, that's gonna be stupid. And then as soon as you play, you're like, holy crap. that thing sounds like a huge standard 34-inch scale P bass. And it's not, it's so tiny, it's ridiculous. They kept it very simple, volume and tone. You got some really nice hardware on this too. The tuning keys are in-house and the bridge is too, but it's very sturdy. There's a lot of mass and meat to this, so you're gonna get some great sustain and some great tones from this little itty-bitty body. 4-bolt neck too, so you have some nice stability with respect to that tone and sustain that you're gonna be pulling from this. It responds super well to pedals and effects, and I know that sounds like an odd thing to say, but when I say that, there are just some times where I've used, and it could be me, maybe it's not, you guys let me know in the comments, where I've used pedals and stuff and it sounds awesome with like one instrument, and then for whatever reason, you plug in a different instrument and they don't sound good or as good. Maybe it's the difference of active-passive, maybe it's all in my head, maybe it's not, I don't know. But this thing sounds phenomenal. Everything I put it through, the Kemper Profiler, my individual pedal board that I have, it responds super well. It looks very unique with the body shape and the horns that it offers, where it's not just like your typical, like, you know, Fender left in the dryer too long. Like, they did their own thing and it feels great. The neck is awesome. The fingerboard feels good. It's nice and fast. 22 frets. 22 frets on this little itty bitty powerhouse. That's nuts, right? So this is probably gonna, like I said earlier, this is gonna become something EMG, but it's still going to sound good. I'm positive. One, because EMG makes good stuff, but two, I don't think anything could sound bad in this. I want another one. I'm gonna ask them to sell me another one, because I can't not have that dad joke available to me when I go to gigs. But this is it, guys. Kayla makes some amazing stuff. They have a lot of different tops too, like the Acoustic-Electric stuff. It's not just those options. They have a lot of different price points with you know, different bells and whistles. The more bells you get, obviously the price point goes higher. But they're all very affordable. I'm not trying to deter you from going to go look at Kayla Brand Music's website. A lot of the instruments they have vary in cost, but they're not outrageous and they're not excessive as far as, you know, a scale goes. I believe this bass is under $400. I want to say it's $350. And that's crazy. It comes with a little itty bitty gig bag too. It gives you the truss rod access too here. I forgot to mention that. This is so huge for me, because when you have it where you got to take, you know, something off, or it's up here and then you have to move the strings, it's so annoying. It's right there. You can just pull them apart and do what you got to do. I had to say that. I'm sorry. But again, you guys, let us know what you thought. Are you the avid fretless stand-up wubby-dubby tone player with Kayla? Are you looking for the fretted one with the stainless strings, or are you coming for this? Is this what you're going to be rocking out to? Like, I would love to see Josh do like a metal cover on this. This is going to be so much fun. Guys, let us know what song Josh should cover on this bad mama the next time he's in town. Okay? Put it in the comments. Let Kayla know what you liked or disliked about the instruments we showed you. I appreciate your guys' time. This is always very fun for me, and these are the instruments and stuff that come through that you know, excite me. Is the stuff that's different and unique. Again, I appreciate all of you, men, women, children, everyone there, and everyone in between. I love that you guys are here. Thank you so much. If you're subscribed, thank you. If you're not, please take a moment to do so. Bells, whistles, notifications, so you can see my ugly mug with something new and fun coming to you soon. Until next time, this is Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel, and we will see you later.